Hey guys, Dr. Callahan here. Today we're going to go over 1.4, which is going to be on little equations and formulas. Actually, I take that back. We're not. We're actually going to be going on to 1.5, which is going to be on solving inequalities in one variables. Now, if you remember what inequalities are, they are the ones with the signs that looks like this. Less than, greater than, and less than, greater than, equal to, or greater than and equal to. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So first thing I want you guys to do is get started with your guided notes. There's a model and discussion portion right here. I want you guys to go ahead and answer a few questions. A, B, and C. So maybe pause it and go ahead and respond to them. All right, so let's go ahead and go on the first example. So for A, you have -3 on the outside. Notice the only difference between solving equations and inequalities is that now we have this inequality sign, which means you're going to have to graph it as well. So first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take the -3, distribute it into the parentheses. So I have a -6x minus 6 less than 10, which my pen is acting a little weird, but that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and fix that. Next, I want to get the x isolated by itself, so I have to get rid of the -6. Opposite of a -6 is a +6. That part cancels. Bring down the -6x, which is less than 16. Then I'm going to do opposite of a multiplication, which is a division, and I'm going to divide it by -6 on both sides. That cancels. X is now by itself. And because I divided by a negative, what happens is that you have to switch the inequality sign. So watch the inequality sign. It switches over to a greater than symbol. And then I'm going to have this divided by 2. So I'm going to have a -8/3. And that is my answer. So you do have to do one extra thing here, which is to graph it. So you're going to go ahead and grab a number line that looks like this. -8/3 is right here in the middle. Now, there are a few things you need to know. If the inequality sign is less than or greater than, it's an open circle. If it's an equal to, it is a closed circle. So that's the first rule. Second rule is that if your inequality is eating the letter X, you're going to shade to the right. However, if it's going to eat a number, you're going to shade to the left. So remember those two rules. So as I'm looking at this, it is a inequality sign without an equal sign. So it's going to be a open circle. And notice how it's eating the letter X, which means I will be shading this over to the right. And that is my answer right here. So any answers greater than -8/3 is going to be part of my solution. All right, for B, I'm going to distribute the 2. So I have an 8 minus 4x, which is greater than 1. I want to isolate the x, which means I have to do the opposite of a +8, which is a -8 on both sides. That cancel. You bring down the -4x, which gives you a -7. Opposite of a multiplication is a divided by -4, so I'm going to do that on both sides. And then I cancel out the -4x, but I have to flip my inequality sign because I divided by a negative. So I now have a +7/4. If you hear my kids in the background, I'm sorry. All right, so then I have 7/4. It is an open circle, but because it is eating the letter, because it's eating the number 7/4. If you look at it, it's literally eating the number 7/4. You're going to be shading over to the left side, and all your solution on the left side of 7/4 is going to be part of your answer. All right, let's go ahead and try a variable with equation with 2 variables on both sides of the equation. So here I have a 2x and I also have a 5x. Remember, you always want to get rid of the one with a smaller number, so that way it ensures you have a positive x. So 5 minus 2 is going to give me a 3. Bring down the -22. Bring down the -5. The 2x cancels, and also bring down the inequality sign. Then next, I want to add the 22 on both sides. That cancels, bring down the 3x, and then I will have a 17. Last part, I'm going to divide it, and notice that I'm not dividing by a negative, it is a positive 3. And so if I have a positive 3 right here, my sign does not change. So I have 17 over 3 as my answer. So let's go ahead and graph this. So here's my number line. Here is 17 over 3. It is an open circle, and the reason for that is because there's no equal sign on the bottom, and it's eating the letter X, so I'm going to be shading over to the right side, and that is my answer. All right, now what I would like you guys to do is you guys practice for number 5, 6, 7, and 8. So give it a try. And then also answer these questions, essential questions, 1, 2, and 3. All right, I'm going to go on to example 3. So let's take a look at example 3. What's different about it is you do have variables on both sides, but in addition, you also have a distributive property. So I'm going to take the negative 2, distribute it into the parenthesis, have a negative 8 plus 4 is less than negative 8 plus 4. Whoops. Let's go back. One thing you should notice is that you have a negative 8x on the left side and a negative 8x on the right side. So automatically that will cancel. And if you don't believe me, you could do plus 8x on both sides. And guess what? They both cancel. You should also realize that having the 4 on both sides means that they will cancel as well because they're exactly the same numbers with the same signs. So you can just go ahead and take it and cancel it. So then you have a 0 on both sides. So in this situation, your answer is going to be many solutions because they're exactly the same on both sides. So infinitely many solutions. And the reason for that is because if you go ahead and plug in a number for x, regardless of what number that's going to be, the left side is always going to equal the right side. All right, let's go ahead and practice one more. And I'm having, come on, what is going on here? Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. Okay, so take the negative 3, distribute it into the parenthesis. I have a negative 6x minus 3, negative 6x minus 5. One thing you should notice is that you have a negative 6x and a negative 6x, so they're exactly the same. So I know for a fact they're just going to cancel. But then what I notice is I have a negative 5 is less than negative 3, and in which case this is not going to work, so it is just going to be no solution. Emma, give me a second. That was my little girl. Here you go. You can play with your little toy gun. All right. So now that we have done a few examples, I think you guys are ready for the homework assignment. You have 16 questions. You can go ahead and just pick any 10. However, if you want to get some extra practice in, you could do all 16. And when I go back, you will get extra points for your practice. Once you're done with them, if you would like to check your answers, I do have the answers right here on this page. You can go ahead and pause it. And if you feel like you're adequately ready to take the quiz for this class, you're welcome to do so. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is just going to be worth 2 points a piece. So your total grade is going to be out of 10 points. And you could do this on a separate piece of paper. You don't have to print this out or anything. All right. Another thing I want to make sure you guys are aware of is your link for this class. If you ever feel the need to do some additional practice, I do have a link here that I use for this class. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to, okay, Let's try signing in. Okay. And hopefully you guys can see that, but if you cannot see that, let me just make sure I share that. Okay, now you can see this. At least I hope. Hold on, let me just check one more time. Okay, yes, you can see this. Awesome. So this is going to be your Google Doc for this entire class. It is for Algebra or Semester 1, Algebra 1, 2020 Fall. So we started off with sections 1.2, and if you look at it, that topic for 1.2 is our 1-2 step equations. I also have my video that goes along with the guided notes right here. If you, however, need some additional practices, I do have other videos, Kahoot, quizzes, Quizlets, extra practice, worksheets, etc. right here. So you guys can go ahead and have access to that, okay? So I will be posting everything here for your class, and it is for the entire first semester. So keep that in mind. All right, you guys, thanks for being here with me. I will see you guys next time.